Hello, I'm Katie, one of the speech and language therapists working in Tayside. Welcome to our online parent information session about supporting children who stammer. Most of the information in this video is for children up to about 7 years, but it can also be helpful for those supporting an older child or a young person who stammers. This information might be useful for families of children who stammer and other adults who know them. Please feel free to share it with them. In this video, we will be talking about the important role families play in supporting their child's communication development, what speech fluency is and how these skills develop, information about stammering, tips and strategies to use to support a child who is stammering, and how and when you can access further support. Here, we have a simple visual to show how we work with families to help them support their child. The way we aim to work as SLTs is to empower the people who are closest to the child, the people they spend time with on a daily basis. Your child will learn whenever you are together and communicating all about the things that are most interesting and familiar and important to them. You know your child best, so you will know how or what will make communication motivating and fun for them. You will make the difference to your child's progress. So, what do we mean by fluency? Basically, the word fluency means being able to talk in a smooth, non-hesitant way. The most important thing to point out here is that nobody, whether an adult or a child, is completely fluent all of the time when they speak. We all show some slight hesitations, revisions when we are talking, even professional speakers like newsreaders or actors. Learning to talk fluently is a skill that gradually develops over time. Most children will not have an issue in mastering this skill. There will be some children who need a little extra support with this, especially in the preschool years. Young children who are learning to talk will often repeat words or phrases or hesitate with and especially when they're producing long or more complex language for their age and stage of development. This is very typical for children between the ages of 2 and 4 years. As a parent, you may become concerned that you're noticing more repetitions of words or sounds in your child's speech, and that their speech does not seem to sound the same as that of their peers. This could indicate that a child may be stammering. What do we know about stammering in children? Learning to understand and use language is an incredibly complex process. Most children develop these skills naturally, without the need for extra support. An estimated 8% of children under 5 years will experience a period of stammering as they are developing their speech and language skills, and may need some extra support. Of this 8%, at least 75% of these children will go on to speak fluently after the time when they stammered. In some children, their stammer stops very quickly. In others, the stammer might come and go. This tends to be more common. We do know that there is a small group of children who will continue to stammer into adulthood. In the whole population, approximately 1% of people stammer. What does stammering sound like? Stammering can sound like repeating whole words, for example, can I have a biscuit? Your child may only repeat the word a couple of times, or it may be numerous times. Repeating the sounds at the start of a word or the first part of the word, for example, Mummy, I want that car, or Ben, put it there. Again, you may only hear a few repetitions, or the sounds may be repeated many times. They may stretch out or prolong sounds, for example, I like that book. The stretching out of sounds may be relatively short, or it may be longer. You might also feel that the sounds seem to be getting stuck. also sometimes called blocking. This is when your child's lips and mouth are ready to speak, but no sound or air comes out. Sometimes they can also look quite tense in the face when this happens, and you may see them putting lots of physical effort into trying to get started with the words. You may also notice signs of tension in their face, neck, or more widely within their body when they are speaking. Body movements as they are trying to speak. Their breathing pattern may appear disrupted. For example, trying to take a large breath, panting, or speaking as they breathe inwards. They may look away when they are talking, especially at moments when they are stammering more, as though they are focusing on getting all their energy on getting these words out. Sometimes they may change what they're going to say. They may try to say a word, then quickly change it to another word that they know they can say fluently and has a similar meaning. Some children may say, "I don't know," when asked questions to avoid speaking, or avoid particular situations, such as not volunteering to speak in a group or refusing to speak with less familiar people. There can be lots of misconceptions about stammering, so we thought it would be helpful to share some facts with you. Firstly, and most importantly, parents do not cause stammering. It is a subject that causes a lot of stress and worry for families, but we want to reassure you that it is not something that is caused by a person. There have been many theories over time but what we do know is that some children appear to be more vulnerable to stammering than others. We can't prevent it, but there are lots of things you can do to support your child when they are stammering. Stammering is more common in boys than girls. For preschool children, for every girl who stammers, there will be 2 to 3 boys. By the time children start school, there will be 1 girl for every 5 boys. In preschool, girls tend to stop stammering more quickly than boys. The most common time for a child to begin to stammer is between the ages of 2 and 5, when their speech and language skills are rapidly developing. There are some children who can begin to stammer at an older age, at 8 or 9, but this tends to be less common, but can happen. Stammering happens across all languages and cultures around the world at the same rate. Researchers believe that there is a strong genetic link, so it can be something that can run in families. We get asked these questions a lot, so hopefully this is helpful for you. You may notice a very sudden change to your child's speech when they begin to stammer. Parents often describe it like they suddenly woke up one day and found it hard to get their words out. For other families, parents notice a more gradual change to their child's speech over time. Both are normal, as each child is an individual, their stammer, and what affects it will be individual to them. Stammering can come and go during each day. Each child will have situations and times in which they do not appear to stammer, and other times when they stammer more. It is also common for children to have times when they stammer more, followed by times when they stammer less. This can be linked to a range of factors, such as spurts in their language skills and other aspects of their development, periods of illness, or copings with change in their routine or home life. Sometimes it can be really tricky to try and identify a trigger for the different amounts of stammering in their speech, and this is okay, as we do know that there are some easy tips you can try at home which can support your child. There are particular times when you might notice that your child seems to be stammering more, including the time closest to when the stammering first started, especially if it began suddenly. Factors such as tiredness, feeling unwell, feeling upset, and being excited can often affect how much a child is stammering. When children are excited, they are more likely to speak quickly, and this can lead to them stammering more.
Hi, I'm Gemma. I'm also a speech and language therapist who works in Tayside. I'm going to tell you about some of our top tips for supporting children who stammer. The key thing is, listen to what your child is trying to tell you, rather than focusing on how it sounds or whether your child is stammering or not. Try to follow your child's lead when they're talking and playing, so that you're both thinking and talking about what they're doing in that moment. This is helpful as it means you're both talking about the same things and likely to be using the same sort of words. Give your child time to talk. Try to look interested but relaxed. Give them the time they need to tell you what they want to say, even if it takes a while. This helps their confidence as they know you are keen to hear what they have to tell you and you'll wait for them to finish speaking. Let your child finish what they're trying to tell you. If your child's struggling to say something, it can be difficult to watch and easy to think you should just finish off the word or sentence for them, especially if you know what they're trying to say. However, we know this is not helpful and it's best to let them have the time they need to finish what they're saying. Slowing down your own speech rate is also really helpful. This gives your child longer to listen to what you're saying, to think about what you've said and to reply to you. Your slower speech rate also acts as a model of speed for the child. Some of us are naturally faster speakers and trying to slow down can be really challenging, so don't expect to be able to keep this up all day every day. Try to pick specific times to slow yourself down to start with, such as at meal times, bedtime or story time. Try to leave pauses between sentences when you're talking. This also helps to let your child know that they can take all the time they need to speak. Take turns to talk. Make sure you let your child have their turn when chatting. Try to make sure there's a balance between you so neither one is doing all of the talking. Taking turns can be tricky for siblings, so try to encourage everyone in the house to listen to each other and try not to interrupt. Praise your child and their siblings when they wait and listen to each other so it reinforces what you would like them to be doing. There are a few things to try and avoid, as we know these tend not to be so helpful. Try to avoid asking lots of questions or demanding speech, such as, "Tell Granny what we had for snack," or "Tell Bob what colour this is." These demands tend not to be helpful as they make the child feel they have to respond. Instead of asking questions, you could try to make comments about what you or the child is doing. For example, "Oh, that car is going really fast," or "You're feeding the dolly." Try to avoid making direct comments on your child's speech, such as "slow down," "take your time," "take a breath," or "stop stammering." It's important to remember that your child is doing the best with their talking that they can. Asking them to slow down or take their time is often not helpful, as young children have minimal awareness of how fast or slow they are talking and don't have the skills to alter their speech rate yet. Spending one-to-one time with your child playing and talking together, which we sometimes call special time, is a great way to support a child who stammers. This should be a relaxed and fun time where you play one-to-one with your child. This can be whenever suits you best in the day. We recommend you try special time at home at least 3 times a week. If this goes well, you can try and increase up to 5 times a week. You don't have to do it every day. Let your child choose the activity that you're going to do. If it's tricky for your child to choose, try to give them 2 or 3 activities to pick from. You can change the choices for other days of the week. They're more likely to interact if they're interested in what's happening, which is why we get them to choose the activity and follow their lead. Things that tend to work well for special time are Play-Doh, crafts, small world toys like cars or tea sets, role play, imaginative play, puzzles, board games. You know your child best, so you will know what they enjoy. However, there are a few activities to avoid for special time, like reading books, watching TV, playing on iPads or consoles, and active outdoor play like trampolines and football. This is because they don't support two-way conversation as easily as the other types of play with your child. Once your child has chosen the activity, make sure you won't be disturbed, put away phones, turn off TV or radio so there's no background noise while you play. Then, play with your child, giving them your full attention and making sure you follow their lead in how they're playing and what they want to talk about. Remember, you're listening to what your child is telling you and not how they're saying it. This is a time to respond to them in the moment and not worry if they stammered. This is a great chance for you to practice one of the strategies we've discussed, or just to do more of the things that you've noticed seem to help your child's stammering, as it's only for a short time. Children naturally enjoy spending one-to-one time playing with us. If you start to do special time at home, you'll probably soon find your child is asking to do it more and more. If you've played for 15 minutes and you and your child want to carry on playing, that's fine, carry on, but don't worry about it being part of your special time. We hope that the information in this video has been helpful. However, there are a number of times when it would be appropriate for you to seek more support for yourself and your child. If your child is becoming distressed or frustrated about their speech, if you or your child are worried about their speech, if your child has been stammering for several months or more from the time you first noticed it happening, if you feel your child's stammer has stayed the same or is happening more frequently, if you've tried some of the strategies but feel you need more support or ideas of how to help your child. Here are a few links to information that we have found useful for families around stammering. The Tayside SLT service has a Facebook page where we post regular information on a range of communication topics, and you can also send us a message which will be responded to by one of our qualified SLT staff. The SLT service also has a website with useful information and links. Other useful websites include STAMMA, which was previously known as the British Stammering Association, and Action for Stammering Children. They have a range of useful information for families and some great information sheets about stammering that you can access for the age and stage of your child.